Many of you had questions concerning the video posting of my alleged trespass on the Boulder, University of Colorado campus. So I believe that some explanation may be in order. So here's my best shot. Marijuana has been a controversial subject ever since I started practicing law. When I first started practicing, very few lawyers would take a drug case because of the social opprobrium and the fact that they thought it would affect their images in a negative way. Since I was only marking time until I got a slot elsewhere, I started out doing the cases because they sounded like fun. And there was a lot going on, and it was on the cutting edge of a lot of things, particularly constitutional law. And constitutional law and legal history have always been my main areas of interest in law. And I'm passionate about the Constitution. So, years ago, marijuana advocates picked a day in April 4/20 to demonstrate and have a big smoke-in at various places, various cities throughout the country, in order to demonstrate the need for regulatory reform regarding the drug laws. After 4 decades of seeing people suffer because of the drug laws, not because of the drugs, I've taught courses on the subject. I've done some lobbying on the subject. I have done drug cases in 36 different states in the United States. And I'm convinced that it's all political and nothing else. It started out as a political football. Haldeman, counsel to the Nixon White House, admitted finally in an interview that the drug war was manufactured and the publicity manufactured in order to have some sort of handle on campus radicals and draft resistors, civil rights leaders, and things like this. I know when I was in Chicago, we were at a Martin Luther King march, and one of the things that the law student volunteers did was sort of frisk the public so we could say that nobody was carrying dope, because the Red Squad in Chicago used to plant marijuana on some of the protesters and arrest them because it made good headlines and it slandered the movements and part of the Nixon dirty tricks kit bag, I guess. Anyway, University of Colorado is a public institution, although the legislature doesn't like to fund it too much, and the new administration wants to privatize it and make it an elitist school. It hasn't quite got there yet. So, 1/4/20, right after recreational marijuana became legal in Colorado, the University of Colorado chancellor decided to lock down the campus to anybody but students. Now, there's a library up there, there's a research library, there's many people enrolled in graduate school and in various areas, and a lot of the people from the city use the library facilities for their own research. And it's supposed to be a public institution, and it's supposed to be an institution of higher learning and not an institution where you propagandize. The only reason they wanted to close the university is because of image. They didn't want the nation to see that University of Colorado allowed students to smoke on their goddamn campus. Now, that's no reason to trash the Constitution. The Constitution says that governments can't make any law that prohibit the freedom of assembly, the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, etc. It's no laws means no laws. So when you have a high horse chancellor going into court saying that it would be bad for the image of the University of Colorado to have a smoke-in on 420, it upset me. It upset me a lot. It upset me when we lost the injunction against him. So I decided to do a little protest of my own. Now, back in my protest days, there used to be a lot of people protesting. You know, I was active in the Vietnam movement, in the civil rights movement, etc. However, it's kind of hard for me to get any recruits to protest at my age nowadays. And the students were already there. It was the non-students that I thought should be allowed to be on campus and participate in the demonstration. If you look at the data of the marijuana laws, the data about marijuana, about drugs, etc., the data does not support the penalties for drug possession, particularly of marijuana. So instead of solving a problem, the government creates one. Now, from my own experience and my own clientele, I know damn well that the government, through its various agencies, clandestine agencies, are responsible for a lot of the drug trafficking in the country and in the world, in fact. Now, to me, it seems hypocritical as hell that the government can smuggle and essentially deal drugs, trade them for weaponry, etc., etc., but clamp down on a university that's supposed to be a place where people can think and express themselves and propagandize with the DEA propaganda, I think is absolute bullshit. So I went up there to prove a point. Some of you say, well, they have a right to do this. No, they don't have a right to do that. It's a state institution. When you have a demonstration on a political matter and you bar people from going to it, you're making a law that is curtailing the right to freedom of assembly. I had a right to be there to express my disagreement with the drug laws the same as the students did, particularly having taught there occasionally. And it concerned me that not too many people saw the point there. So this is why I did it. This is why I got upset. I wasn't trying to do anything other than to point out that the University of Colorado was turning into a semi-fascist state and that the administration was totally against everything that an academic institution of higher learning should be for. And I think that's wrong too. We've had that issue in the past. We had a situation where a Colorado governor told the president of the university to fire a professor in the ethnic studies department because they didn't like what he published in one of his publications. And it was a witch hunt. That's wrong. And it's been a continual fight here at the University of Colorado. When I first came here to attend the university, they made the faculty still sign loyalty oaths. And this is a so-called liberal Boulder, which isn't really liberal anyway, by the way. And you drive out of Boulder toward Golden, and there were signs that said impeach or warn, big billboards, right on the way to the Rocky Flats factory where they manufactured atomic bombs at the time. And there was another one that said, get the red U.S., or get the U.S. out of the red UN. And these were massive billboards. And they were right as you approach the nuclear facility at Rocky Flats, which was kind of ironic, I thought, and kind of interesting, and also telling about the community. And the community of Boulder is pretty much an intelligence billet, and they try to hide it quite well. But there are a lot of spooks living here, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and a lot of recruitment for intelligence agencies. And they're very image conscious. And they try to promote this particular image, and they're trying to privatize the school like everything else, which is not a very good idea, because once you privatize a school, you can control what's being taught there. And they're already doing that, or trying to do that right now, by keeping citizens off of campus that want to attend a demonstration. Now, that's why I posted what I did, and that's why I recorded what I did. I'm still bewildered at the consummate stupidity of the police when they see somebody my age in a suit, or sports coat it was, walk onto campus with a film crew. You got to wonder what the hell they were thinking. And then they confront me in front of the camera and essentially let me interview them. It was kind of amusing from my point of view, but I can't believe that an institution that manages the public relations the way they did allowed that to happen. If I were in charge of the campus police department, I would have, I think I would have retrained the officers on something about handling publicity. It was highly amusing, actually. And the students there that were going on and off campus were kind of interested in what I was doing. And if one of my former students wouldn't have come up and called me professor, probably I would have been arrested. But I think as soon as that happened, the arresting police officer all of a sudden knew that maybe he took a bite out of the wrong ass. In any event, I hope you guys enjoy my explanation here. And I have a blog called denniscomments.wordpress.com. And I hope maybe that some of you will read that. Thank you very much. Bye.